What's going on, everyone? Dragonflight has been out for 36 to 48 hours now, and I have spent way too much of that time playing the game and not enough time sleeping so far. But I've been having a really fun time getting to do all the Dragonflight content so far. I thought that it'd be a good time to make just a quick initial impressions video, get my thoughts out there. This is probably gonna be a little rambly and all over the place, so hopefully you don't mind that and don't mind the ums and uhs and whatnot. Anyways, I guess to start out, the first thing we have to talk about is the launch. It did feel like a bit more of a rough launch than some of the past expansions have been. Definitely varies depending on what server you're on. I personally got very lucky to make it across to the Dragon Isles on the first Zeppelin at Orgrimmar, and I was able to pretty much start questing right after 6 p.m. when it launched. I ended up making it to around level 68 the first night, and then going to bed, waking up, and hitting 70 yesterday. So today I'm going to continue to do some questing and check out what the in-game or max level content is. And speaking of questing, the questing experience this expansion I think is probably the best for a new expansion we've gotten. I was a little hesitant coming in because of the main story quest returning. I wasn't a huge fan of that in Shadowlands, and I kind of missed the systems of Battle for Azeroth and Legion where you could choose what zone you wanted to start in. But they did a really good job with it in Dragonflight. Like, the main story quest feels amazing. It doesn't feel too tedious. It doesn't feel like there's too much dialogue. It felt like it's very quick, and it leads into a lot of the optional side quests as well. And for me, those optional side quests are really kind of the star of the show. The main story is good, but some of these side quests are some of the most memorable quests that I think they've created in a long while. And there's so many of them. It took me so long to even get through the main story quest because I kept doing all the side content. I hit level 70 about halfway through the Azure Span zone, and then I was still there doing optional side quests for like several hours after I hit 70 before I even got into the final zone of the Dragon Isle. So the optional quests are awesome. I love them. It doesn't feel like the typical go somewhere, kill something, get an item, bring it back. Of course you have that, but there's so much extra NPC dialogue around them and flavor to the quest that really make them fun. And I think each zone has done a really good job of this. All of the zones have some memorable side quests to me. Like, obviously everyone's been talking about the quest where you sit down and talk to the dwarf in the Waking Shores. I had a fun time with the photography quest there. In the Ohonara Plains, as long as I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's some fun side quests there. Lots of quests involving ducks around. They really made those the star of the show. Now that ducks are finally in WoW. The Azure Span, I've had a ton of fun with the Tuskar quest, especially there. One of my favorite quests involves a little kid trying to fight a Yeti. And then I really like the fact that professions are kind of front and center in some of the quests. Like the fact that the Tuskar have fishing quests that aren't just fishing dailies, I think makes so much sense. Like, fishing has always been kind of one of those unique side things in WoW that probably not a lot of people really do, but having it in a quest and saying, hey, take like a 5-minute break, catch me a few fish here, I think is kind of nice and really does help break up the questing experience. I also really like the quest in the Iskara village where you get to like have one of the elders like tell a story, and you get to kind of tell them what to say to the kids that they're telling a story to. I thought that was fun. And later on, I actually got an item while I was doing a different quest that gave me a new story to go back and take to that person. So I thought that was really cool to see. Outside of questing, dragon riding is really fun. It's such a good system, and I hope they continue with this in the forward. Yes, I guess over time, we're just going to get used to it and possibly get kind of bored of it. But going through and getting to do all of the dragon riding races is so fun. I hope they keep adding to those. I hope they make higher difficulties of those, because just getting gold on those I thought was kind of easy. I haven't done any multiplayer dragon racing yet, but that also sounds really fun to do. And I think the rune system and having like the set of talents for your dragon is pretty cool. And the fact that they're actually going ahead and making those account wide immediately is so nice, and I'm so glad that they are doing that now rather than people complaining about having to get those on all their characters and then maybe in like 10.1 or 10.2 they would make those account wide. No, Blizzard definitely seems to have changed some of their philosophies, and making those account wide immediately is fantastic for the game. Last thing I want to mention is just the dungeons. I have not done many of them yet. I've only done Ruby Life Pools and the Knock HUD Offensive. Both of those dungeons I thought were pretty cool. Ruby Life Pools was really short. I'm interested in how it plays in Mythic Plus. The last boss especially seemed like there is kind of a lot going on just for normal. So definitely need to rerun that. If you're interested in that, I did post a video of that on my channel. And then Knock HUD Offensive. I heard about this in beta. I didn't see it, but it is the dragon riding dungeon. And so I didn't know how that was going to work, but it's really cool. Like, you get on your dragon riding mount and you fly from boss to boss, and each boss has different mobs around them that you need to fight. And it kind of reminds me of the openness that we got in Mechagon Junkyard, where they're really using a whole zone for the dungeon. And I think that that's something really unique, and it's really cool to see them trying to do something like that again. It's going to be interesting in how that works in Mythic Plus. When I did it, my group didn't really know where to go, so we were kind of just following each other, circling the skies around mobs, and no one really wanted to choose a place to land. So that was pretty funny to watch. I'm sure that'll get worked out when people get routes down and things, but it was a good time. I'm excited now that I'm 70 to go through and do all of the dungeons, do all the mythics and everything. If the rest of the dungeons are as fun as these first two that I've done, then I'm gonna be really happy with it. And I think that's gonna wrap this up for now. There's a lot of good stuff. I hope that everyone else is enjoying it. If you're not, I would love to hear what people's complaints are so far. I haven't really done too much in-game. I'm interested in seeing how the new world quests are, since they're not really daily anymore. It seems like they reset every couple of days. So interested in how that's going to work out, how some of the other grinds and things at max level are going to be. Also need to look more into professions, and I'm curious in how leveling alts is going to feel with the new adventure system. I think it's what it's called now. It's basically the new Threads of Fate, so probably check that out sometime soon. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed. If you're interested in more enhancement shaman content or WoW content in general, definitely subscribe, and yeah, hopefully you look forward to the next one.